In this video, I'm giving you 9 quick tips to start feeling less anxious right now. My name is John Clark. I'm a licensed therapist at CalmAgainCounseling.com. Step number 1 is do a quick body scan, and I want you to think of a number between 0 to 100. This is what we call the SUDS scale, or subjective units of distress. Your number is basically just an indicator of how much tension you have in your body right now. 100 being the most, 0 being the least. Figure out what your number is right now. Close your eyes, scan your body, notice where you're feeling tension, and just think of a number and try to identify where you're at. Let's say you're 70 right now. 70 is your starting point. You can actually use this exercise and just check in with yourself and notice your number at any point throughout your day. You could even set a reminder on your phone to check in with yourself every couple of hours. Sometimes just knowing what your number is actually helps. Tip number 2, this is a common one but a crucial one, just breathe. Not only just breathe, but I want to show you really quick how to do what I call diaphragmatic breathing. Diaphragmatic breathing is just breathing into your diaphragm. So if you can start by just putting a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly, you're going to breathe in deep through the nose, and as you breathe in deep, you want to feel your belly expanding into your diaphragm. This is the way that babies breathe before they've learned to be stressed and think about taxes or think about what's going to happen in their career. They're holding tension in their shoulders and they're breathing short and shallow in our chest. This is how we operate as adults. So anyway, with diaphragmatic breathing, hand on your chest, hand on your belly, breathe in deep through the nose, feel your belly expand. It kind of looks like this. So I feel my belly expand. I'm going to breathe out now through the mouth, okay? And when I do this, I'm going to inflate my cheeks just like I'm blowing out a candle. This is going to slow down the breath, and then also, theoretically, it helps pull in oxygen even as you're pushing out oxygen. So this is what the breath kind of looks like. Oh, and by the way, hold your breath at the very top for 2 or 3 seconds. So inhale through the nose, hold it for 2 or 3 seconds, let all that oxygen absorb, and then breathe out through the mouth with your cheeks inflated. It looks kind of like this. Even with one breath like that, I feel more relaxed. You can probably see it in my eyes. I'm a little bit more relaxed. I'm just kind of sending a signal that my nervous system can calm down. Speaking of nervous system, number 3 is to give your nervous system a break. Your nervous system is really responsible for sending danger signals from your nervous system to your brain. The reality is most of the time we're not in danger, but our nervous system is kind of false alarming as if we are. So how do you give your nervous system a break? Well, you think about things that are physically calming and not physically stimulating. Starting by breathing, keeping your heart rate and your blood pressure down by controlling your breathing. Drinking a lot of water throughout the day. Cutting out, and I mean cutting out entirely, caffeine. I know this is hard, especially if you rely on that cup of coffee in the morning, but guess what? Coffee or caffeine is a nervous system stimulant, so you need to cut out all caffeine in your life if you really want your best chance of feeling less anxious. This is just a temporary change. You can always reintroduce caffeine later, but for now, cut out caffeine entirely. Cut out alcohol while you're at it. Even though alcohol makes you feel good on the way up, guess what happens on the way down? Those chemicals, they come down, and instead of just stopping at baseline, they crash and you go into basically a depletion with those good chemicals, which makes you feel way more anxious than if you were to not drink at all. All these things are then going to help your sleep. Your sleep is where the body really resets, where the nervous system resets. And again, you want to give your nervous system every chance possible to really calm down. Pair all of this with good, consistent exercise, ideally cardio of at least 30 minutes at a time, and I guarantee you're going to start feeling less anxious pretty quickly. Number 4, check in with the now. Check in with the present moment. You and I are here in this moment. You're watching this YouTube video. What's in the past is regret, lamenting the past, wondering if I did things wrong, and that's depression, right? What's in the future is worry. What's going to happen? I feel out of control. Things could go wrong. That's anxiety. What's happening right now in this moment is nothing's going wrong. you're sitting wherever you're sitting, you're watching me do this video, right? You're walking through these exercises and you're thinking about how it can help you with your anxiety. This is the present moment, and this is one of the safe places for you to not feel anxious, is here and now. Number 5, if you're feeling anxious, you're thinking anxious. This comes from cognitive behavior therapy, or CBT. If I'm feeling anxious, I'm having anxious thoughts, or a lot of times anxious automatic thoughts. These thoughts happen even under my awareness. So I might be thinking of something that could happen. I might be thinking of a lot of what ifs. I might be thinking about all the stuff I have to do and what if I can't get it done. Again, the first thing you do is just check your thoughts, maybe write them down, write down what you're worrying about, and see how realistic they are, right? Maybe you're worrying, hey, I'm gonna totally screw up this presentation on Friday. Well, is it that true? Or if you do screw it up, could you deal with it? Number 6, I'm gonna teach you the anxiety formula. This is simple but powerful. Anxiety equals overestimation of danger divided by underestimation of your ability to cope. Okay, so anxiety really exaggerates how bad things are going to be, and it really undermines your abilities. Switch these around and you start to see that things are usually not as bad as we think they are, and our abilities are usually better than we thought in terms of our ability to deal with whatever is ahead. Number 7, another cognitive strategy that I use a lot with my therapy clients is called the downward arrow technique. All you're going to do is you're going to take a fear. Let's say I do bomb that presentation at work on Friday. Okay, so you start there, that's the top. What if I bomb my presentation? Okay, well then you go down and say, what would that mean? Well, then my peers would think, my peers would notice, okay, what would that mean? Well, they would think less of me. What would that mean? Well, maybe my boss would notice as well. What would that mean? I might lose my job. What would that mean? I'd be devastated. What would that mean? Or what would you do, right? Well, I'd be devastated, I'd be sad, I'd be unemployed. And then what would you do next? Well, I guess I would polish up my resume, and then what would you do? I'd start interviewing or applying to companies. Okay, and then what? I would eventually get a job. I would eventually rebuild my life. I would eventually save the money that I had spent, or whatever it is, right? So this is also called fear setting. The point is you're getting to the very bottom of your fear, you're going ahead and imagining it, but then you imagine how you would deal with it if the worst case scenario actually did happen. So you're getting to the core and then figuring out, okay, now that I know what the core is, let's figure out how I would deal with that. Once you do this, I promise this is going to totally set you free and kind of unhinge you from this fear that you have. Number 8, this is one of my favorites, just let some things hit the floor. The reality is there's just too many pressures that we have on life to get it all done and pay the bills and go to the appointments and keep up with your social life and exercise every day. The reality is something's going to hit the floor, and a lot of times our anxiety comes from this over pressure we have on ourselves to get it all done and to kind of be perfect, right? Let something hit the floor. Ignore that bill for another week, all right? Skip today and exercise. Allow yourself a slight indulgence or to eat something that is just like tasty or kind of a treat, knowing that tomorrow you can start working out again. Part of being anxious means letting go and focusing just on what you can control today. Number 9 is, of course, get help from a professional. Get help from an expert like me. If you're interested in working together, head to calmagaincounseling.com now. Otherwise, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. Let me know your thoughts and reactions in the comments below. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button and check out other videos in our channel. Thanks again for checking this out. I'll see you real soon.